Welcome to another Smokebox. I'm Be Real, aka Dr. Green Thumb from BREALTV. I got my very special guest in the box. Ladies first, Katie Forbes back there.
Hey.
We got the legendary, I say legendary, man, Rob Van Dam, RV fucking D.
Yes, sir.
And you know, we've been talking about this smoke box for a long time, and you're one of the guys that everybody insists that we had to have. And that's since we started this, right? Because everybody has suggestions, you know that, right? Like the comments.
But you tell all your guests that, though.
No, but it's for real,
Joe
though.
Rogan, you told Joe Diaz,
because let me tell you something. These people have a fucking list of guys that they think we should have in here.
Yeah.
And so we go by that list. We swear by it, right? We're like, okay, we're going to try to get these people.
Cool.
And you guys, like, there's like a top 10 list of guys that came out like right at the beginning when we started doing this box. Hey, you should have this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. And we already know because we're fucking stoners and we know all the guys we're supposed to get. But it's like everybody has a schedule. Like everybody that you know, the top 10 guys that we went after had a schedule or they had shit that didn't allow them to come on camera and smoke. Yeah. And that was one of our things.
This is the first time, actually, that I've smoked on camera. Kind of a big deal for me here.
Yeah.
And, you didn't smoke during the ancient aliens?
No,
no, believe it or not. Like he said, everyone turn around. All the cameras turn around. Made like a big deal about it.
He makes sure and protected
so I could do the one dab that he let me hit during the show. He holds on to that. He holds on to that shit, don't he?
Salute to action for that though, because he wanted to protect your shit.
Yeah. So my personal preference, because I've been advocating since '98 or so, and I'm like a facts and statistics kind of person, and so I always figured that was my position in the war, was to tell people, well, this is why it was prohibited in '37, and this is why, the Controlled Substance Act of 1970, and so I figured like people that smoke, that was their position, in a rebellious way to say, fuck you, look, we're smoking, and I didn't want to see myself smoking and have that used against me, like the Nancy Graces saying, "Oh, all the kids look up to him, and he's smoking marijuana."
Irresponsible.
And so on a personal, but now it's time, because now it's like, boom, this is the world's different. We're vindicated. We're vindicated now, because there's marijuana, CBD everywhere now. Most people know that the shit we were taught back in the 90s was bullshit.
Yes,
80s,
propaganda,
90s, all before
anti-cannabis
that.
propaganda.
Yeah.
But for a while, people knew that you smoked, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I've been very loud about it. Yeah.
I mean, even in your wrestling attire, you would have like little leaves here and there and shit.
And the whole RVD 420 has been a big thing. So I've always been an advocate and smoked, but I just chose not to have it on camera prior to this.
Still dab it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, because I know you're one of the first people that I saw, like, you were taking big dabs off of like a nice heady rig when I first met you a couple years ago. That was like 5-6 years ago, and I was like, oh shit, he's got this game on lock already. Yeah.
Well, with all the training you guys fucking do, I mean, it's a lot. You guys are fucking tossing each other around. You guys are running, this, extremely fucking dangerous shit, where you guys are taking the falls and taking the bumps and bruises. I mean, you got to be fucking in shape for that. Like for someone who doesn't think that it's,
absolutely
extremely physically taxing, I would challenge them to go in there and try to hang for like even 2 minutes of that shit.
Yeah. When if someone says, if they ask, hey, is wrestling real? Then my favorite response is, dude, just let me body slam you one time
and see how real that feels.
Me.
Yeah. That was like that one time when Geraldo fucking asked what was the fucking wrestler, I can't remember his name, but it was
on Geraldo's show. Was it me?
No. Oh. I don't know if it was Geraldo, but it was a guy like Geraldo. He asked one of the old school. I think it was maybe AWA or what was it, NWA, something.
One of those,
yeah, one of the old school ones. And he asked the wrestler, "What do you think about people saying that wrestling isn't real and it's fake?" And the wrestler slapped the shit out of him. Did that feel fake to you?
Yeah, that's Dr. D. David Schultz. That's a very well-known incident. Yeah, and it was who's the dude's name? He broke his eardrum. Stossel.
Yeah, he broke his eardrum. That's right.
Yeah,
because he slapped the shit out of him.
Yeah,
that was a good slap.
Yeah. But you know what's the trip is that not only obviously yes, this helps with body pain and shit,
right.
But you know, I've had like hundreds of concussions, and until one particular one, I never had any lasting symptoms, and I thought maybe it was because I smoked marijuana.
Right.
And that was before they were talking about marijuana helping with Alzheimer's and
helps with all the neuro.
Before, but I mean, I was onto it years ago, and it's funny because I get backlash for that. Like I had a big promotional thing with my hometown in Battle Creek. They were going to promote my movie, and then they yanked it because they saw on YouTube that where I said that I got high like 100% of the time when I wrestled. And it was taken out of context,
right,
of course.
Obviously.
But the thing is, dude, I protected my brain.
Yeah.
And that's the message that now I want everyone to know is, you know, I want to further the study on protecting the brain.
Right. Listen,
CBDs or oxygen therapy or stem cells, whatever it is.
It absolutely works. It absolutely works. I mean, I just did this other show with Montel Williams. Remember that guy?
Yeah. Of course.
And he was talking about, like, you know, he had his battle with MS, and then he had a stroke, and he was able to push through all that, and through all that time, you know, well, before he got introduced to cannabis as the therapy, he was, you know, doing like everybody else, using the pharmaceutical shit, and he was realizing how that wasn't working, and he was developing something out of that, you know, like an addiction for those fucking opiates. And right then and there, when he recognized it, he changed over to cannabis, and he started using that. And he said that through both those things that he had to go through, he felt that him smoking cannabis, like consuming cannabis, not just CBD, but full spectrum, both THC and cannabis and all of the fucking elements that go together with it, that he felt it helped protect his brain to help him, you know, get through that shit, and, you know, actually, you know, that it made him strong. And, you know, you're hearing more of those stories. I mean, you just said it now.
Yeah. Well, that's what inspired me to come up with my own line, because everyone's always, over the years, said, how come you don't have your own weed, you know, and like, anyone can name anything, whatever they want. Right. So that wasn't too enticing. And, but, you know, a lot of, I don't know if you know this or not, but wrestlers generally die young.
Right.
And they die from two causes. One is either an accidental opiate overdose,
right,
or suicide.
Right.
And suicide's always linked to depression, from
the
CTE, well, and from the concussions ultimately, you know. So that's why for me it's very important, because I don't want to lose any more friends, but I mean a lot. Like if you look this up, I mean it's a ridiculous amount.
I think that's something that a lot of fans don't know out there, is that because of the bumps and bruises that you guys take, like the extreme aspect of the sport, they don't realize, you know, when you have to go, when you go see, you can rock it right.
When charity?
Yeah.
I was like,
hey, we're stoners. No, but you know, I don't think the fans actually realize until they see like the documentaries, right? Until they see, you know, the documentaries based on the after effects of taking those fucking bumps and bruises, and then, you know, having to take the fucking pharmaceuticals to, you know, take away some of the pain, because it's never the cure. It's always just to take the fucking pain, and then it leads to addiction. And then when you can't have the shit no more and you can't deal with it, a lot of that shit turns into the other fucking shit that happens to it. So it's just like other athletes in other sports like football, where they're fucking, you know, it's collision based sport, right? You know, impact. And they have to deal with fucking, you know, the team doctors prescribing them opiates too. And most of them want to use cannabis instead of the opiates because they don't want a fucking opiate addiction. They don't want it to have other effects on their bodies later, where cannabis doesn't have any of those byproducts, you know, obviously.
Yeah, that's the thing is the downside to using cannabis has always just been the law.
Right.
The punishment that comes with it, and just the guilt, you know, people have killed themselves because they thought, I think one of the Von Erichs, I think, actually killed himself because he got busted with weed.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he thought, and because those guys were the fucking, you know, they were the, what do you guys call them?
Babyface.
The baby faces, right? It would fuck up their image, right? And that's
back
what,
then.
and so, even in your time and with, you know, our friend Charles White, Godfather, you know, you guys represented cannabis in a way, but you guys could never be seen on camera smoking it or anything like that, because obviously the sport is there's a lot of kids that watch. And so, you know, always the propaganda is, the pot smokers, you know, they're not going to get anywhere. They're lazy. They're this, they're that. And, you know, I guess they felt like it would affect their brand, like if you guys were out in public smoking. But I think, you know, because there's more education out there and people want to be educated a lot more in terms of the industry, I think the perception is different now and it's more accepting. Like, I mean, you got guys like Snoop Dogg that are household name, and kids, you know, and parents allow their kids to watch shit that he's on, and he's a fucking known
he's not held back from anything.
No, he's, you know what I mean? He's like that guy. So I think people are more open these days.
Yeah, of course. You know, we've seen the world change in that way. I remember one time years ago, I was in I don't know, in Europe somewhere. I was in the parking lot and I was smoking a joint, and then I looked and I noticed behind me was a big full wall window and there was a classroom in there and stuff, you know. And I was and then I was thinking, fuck. And my first thought was, I hope they know I'm smoking marijuana and not tobacco.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the way that it should be.
That's the way that it should be.
Cigarettes kill 1 out of 2 long-term users.
That's true.
I mean, if the more people understand it, and they are learning.
I think they are.
They are. They totally are.
I think they are, because, like, you know.
And you knew they were. That's me too. That's why we're being loud about it, because we knew it was going to change for the better. And
there was more of us out there, and and people's understanding is different. You know, they're not so judgmental about it, because I think a lot of the people who are, let's just say, the non-smokers, right? And they keep hearing about how cannabis and CBDs help for these certain ailments that their kids might have. You know what I mean? Like with the seizures, there was a story that I can't remember, one of these.
Charlotte's Web?
Yeah, where there was this young girl. She was having like 1,000 seizures a day. And she started using, you know, a low-grade cannabis with CBD. It had THC, but very, you know, low percentage of it with CBD. And it went down to, you know, I think at the end of the story, it said she stopped having the seizures.
Yeah, I think it was like one a week or something. Sanjay Gupta had shared that in his first documentary. He turned around. He was offered the Attorney General position, and from what I understand, turned it down because
they would have asked him to suppress that information.
And he used to be on the other side. He feels bad for being against marijuana so much, so now he's trying to make up for it with these documentaries, which are like fantastic.
Oh yeah, I mean, you see more and more of those doctors flipping and saying, you know what, cannabis
and cops
actually,
too.
Yeah, and cops too.
Got all the lives I've ruined, you know, for no reason, and I got to sleep with that at night.
And I'll tell you what, cops use cannabis for sure for medical purposes. You know, I used to go to this one dispensary out in Roseman, I think it is the city, right? And every now and then you would see an LA County sheriff, you know, buying his medicinal cannabis out there, because they didn't want to be seen buying it in the city. Sorry, sheriffs, but, you know, I saw you there. So, but it's not a bad thing. You know, it's not a fucking bad thing. It's, you know, more people should be using cannabis responsibly, obviously. But
yeah, I used to spend a lot more time and energy advocating for legalization. You know, like I would be in the front line. I would, you know, talk
Absolutely.
to kids at the you know. So it was an uphill fight then. You know, I was like, people have to know this. Like, what? Like, it's still. Like it's a Schedule 1 controlled substance. What? It hasn't changed since 1970 when it was put there, you know, by Nixon, and non-medicinal. Like, people got to know that this is what the feds are using as guidelines today. And I was like really passionate, and I still am, but I really felt, you know, obligated to share this knowledge. Right. And I was like, did you know they say marijuana is the most dangerous drug, Schedule 1 with heroin and acid, but Schedule 2, which is safer for you and the community, environment, everything, and higher medicinal values, cocaine and meth. If most people knew that that was currently what the guidelines were, then I think that would mandate a change, just because I want to be like, come on.
Right.
Like, nobody believes there's zero medicinal benefit, and that meth is better for you, right. You know. Yeah. But I used to feel a lot more passionate, and then now I feel like, since most people know, I kind of like, not that I backed away, but, you know, I guess put my energy other places for several years. But now I started my CBD line, RVD CBD, and now I'm realizing that, you know, that whole world, like they're so thankful for, you know, and they're open arms welcoming me in, and it's just like so much good energy with it.
Well, because you spent all that time advocating, you know what I mean?
And now I'm back in.
Yeah, now you're back in. And I think right now too, I think sometimes we take for granted, you know, how much we've been a part of the shit, because, you know, we know the information. You know, we know the information out there, and because the information is readily available these days, you know, we sort of assume that everybody fucking knows, right? But realistically, it's still so young. It's such a young industry still.
Fuck yeah, it is.
I think, you know, education is important. That we keep educating these people, even if we keep having to tell the stories or whatever information over and over, where it seems redundant to us, because we've been doing this so long. It's just, you still have a whole generation of new consumer, new advocate, new medicinal user that needs to know, right?
Yeah, look at it. Here's one way to put it. You know, like, the marijuana plant has around 100 different components, cannabinoids.
Right.
Depending on, you know, sometimes it's 116, 96. But
it varies throughout the growth of the plant, right?
Okay, so it's always been THC. That's all we ever talked about. And then CBD just came along, you know, in the last few years.
Yeah, like 6-7 years, right?
Now they're talking CBG, CBN, but we still know very, very little. We know like maybe like five of the cannabinoids out of like 100. So, and it's because they suppress study. You know, it's still illegal to study it by the federal guidelines. Yeah, but they do like
the government studies it. They don't tell us though. Yeah. Definitely, they do the studies.
And the states are too. I mean, you know, people are feeling more comfortable that they're compliant with the law, even if they're not compliant with the feds. I mean, even us. I mean, you know, but that's gotta be a change. Like 33 states, I think, have medical, and I think they gotta. I was always told by Rob Campia from MPP, Marijuana Policy Project. Yeah, he always told me that when you get 2/3 of the states, which I think is 37.
Yeah, we're almost there. Yeah, we're almost there.
He said it mandates a change, and he said that was precedented by sodomy.
Really?
Yeah, that's a trip. So that's later. I got like 4 in there.
That's a crazy fact, right there.
Yeah. The states decided it was the government shouldn't govern their buttholes.
What do you think is holding those other states back? I mean, because like, you know, you've traveled to, you know, big markets, secondary markets, and even the other ones that aren't as big as, you know, the others and shit. Like you've pretty much traveled everywhere in the United States. You know, what would you say is holding some of these other states back?
Well,
you think it's information, the lack of, or the lack of want to educate themselves on cannabis?
Both. I think it's both. You know, there's they don't want to hear it, so they're not going to hear it.
Right.
And
like Bible Belt shit.
Yeah, I mean, there's always got to be an opposing view, you know, like a Democrat to the Republican. So there's a lot of people that are really conservative that just really just want to believe the bullshit that they were taught, or maybe they know somebody and it was a bad experience for them, so they think that everybody's
going to have their experience,
because they used to steal and it turned them into something. I don't know.
That's crazy, man. Yeah. I mean, like, you know, because then they're trying to, you know, make that view as if it were, you know, like a heroin or crack or a meth, and it's definitely not that.
But I will talk to people that, you know, friends, you know, on the conversation they seem like intelligent people,
right?
You know, we'll talk about this, and they'll go, well, but it is a gateway drug, though. No, it is.
That's still you know, people are a gateway. I think it's people. I don't think it's the actual drug, because, you know, you have the ultimate decision whether you're going to do that shit or not.
Of course.
I don't know anyone in my lifetime that said weed took them to cocaine. That's a completely different user base.
Which, by the way, according to the federal guidelines, that's a positive move to a safer drug.
Then it's no.
From a Schedule 1 to Schedule 2.
Well, we know that's bad information. Yeah. But, you know, that's the craziness. Like, you know, cannabis.
It's like saying a girl that's like really promiscuous, you know, that's like fucking, she fucked the football team, and I know she started with hand jobs, so.
Hand jobs are the gateway.
Hand jobs are. Isn't that the exact same thing?
Yeah, I guess so. It's a crazy way to look at it, but yeah, it is. But that's the thing, man. It's a totally different user base, right? Like most cannabis users, if you're like a stoner and like to the core, you don't really fuck with coke like that. You know?
If you do, you're going to anyway, because you're one of those adventurous people that are going to try everything. You know?
Yeah, if you're an adventurous person, you're not just fucking with weed. You're fucking with a little bit of everything. But that's because that's that person.
She was gonna have anal sex anyway.
Right. Absolutely. Well, hand job or not.
That's ridiculous. I can't. That's why. That's one of those things that just like I don't see how people really believe that. But they'll say, well, you know what it is. They'll say, well, my uncle or whatever, he did heroin and shit, and I know he smoked pot first, so he drank water.
They were going to do that either way, like you said, you know, because some people are just driven.
Some people are experimental. A lot of people, what do you think about that? Like a lot of people, the idea of being fucked up sounds appealing, and there's a lot of people that's like, you know, the last thing they want to do.
Yeah. You know, it's I guess it's obviously two different perspectives, right? Like there's people that never tried anything, and maybe they're afraid of it because they don't have the right information. And it's much like if you go do ayahuasca, right? I imagine. I haven't done it, but you know, what comes back is that there's a shaman, you know, that takes you through the experience of it so that you're guided and you don't fucking, you know, get unhinged or whatever. And you know, if you're gonna do any fucking drugs, right? There should be somebody there with experience to help you through that shit, right?
Yeah.
And you know, that's not what happens. I mean, that is not what happens. We know what happens is you fucking do it, and if that shit calls to you, if it's like right up your alley for the shit you want to do, you're gonna do more of that. And you know, I don't think there's like a gateway to that, but that person. You know what I'm saying?
So, like you said, decisions, choices.
Yeah, because one way or another, they're going to find it. Whether they smoked weed or they fucking had a beer. Does beer lead you to drugs? Because the beer's not strong enough? You know what I'm saying?
And if like 50% of the population has tried marijuana, then anything they go on to do, you know, was because of marijuana. It makes people rob jewelry stores. It makes people.
You know what they say when they tell me that? I just say Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
Michael Phelps, motherfucker. Michael Phelps.
That's That's how I had to look at it when I got busted. You know, when I had the WWE and the ECW championship.
Yeah.
Got pulled over for speeding, and then had 18 grams of bud in my car. I wasn't careful at all. I don't know. I used to travel and have it on the dashboard.
I was reckless too, bro. Yeah, I know.
You have it on the dashboard, dude?
Yeah, drying in the sun. Fucking,
we were brave.
Not even have spray sometimes, and not even feel like I was doing anything wrong. But
yeah, because we weren't.
Yeah, but I have gotten busted several times. But the one was real famous because I had the championship belt at the time and had to drop it and all that shit. But but I kind of felt like, you know, hey, I don't remember which happened first, me or Michael Phelps. Seemed like it was around the same time. But yeah. But I remember thinking like, hey, that's good for, you know, for the bud to.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
You know, because I think people's perception have changed. They see a lot of people.
Not that Michael Phelps is as good of an athlete as RVD, but I mean,
no. You know. He can't do half the shit you do, bro. Not a fraction. You know, like all respect due to, you know, his skills in the fucking swimming pool, but he can't come do shit.
He can hold his breath. He
got good bong hit power for sure. Yeah, we'll see what happens when he gets in here. No, man, but you know, awesome. I think you don't get enough credit in that regard, man, because I mean, you were on fucking like a big platform representing the cause like every fucking week that you got on TV. Like it was always present at
still doing it, just on a smaller scale because I'm with Impact now. And not as many people
but still, I mean, your consistency and devotion to, you know, being an advocate and being an ambassador, you know, that shit is one of the biggest things, you know, like, I respected your whole get down because, like, you know, you had a fucking skill set that was different than a lot of those dudes. And you were, you know, uncompromising in representing the cannabis, you know, in that get down, man. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, because I used to watch it, and when you would come on, the fucking whole building would just pop, burst open. And that was awesome to see because the first thing I would tell myself is that's one of us like representing like to the world right there, because I mean, you know, it's a world, you know, watched sport.
Fuck yeah, it is. Yes, it is. Just like you, I travel all over the world too.
I
like seeing your posters advertised that you're going to be in towns sometimes when
we come across each other's promotions. That's for sure. I mean, I remember one of my first times in Germany. We were in a hotel that, you know, all the WWF, when they were WWF, before they had to switch to the E, they were all in our hotel. We were all staying in the same hotel, and the arena they were doing the gig at was across the street or across the way from the hotel.
Yeah.
And we were all partying that night together in the bar area. You know, we couldn't smoke weed in there, so, you know, it was, you know, drinking and shit like that. And man, those guys could party. I mean, I don't know how much weed they were smoking at that point because we didn't get the chance to smoke them out. But The Undertaker even said it on a fucking post recently that he out partied us.
Yeah.
People thought that they meant smoking, but it was pretty much drinking, which I wasn't a big drinker at that time. So yeah.
A lot of the whole new generation of wrestlers is so different. They're a lot. Well, first off, since the style has changed so much, thanks to everybody wanting to be RVD.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing flips and diving out and all this. It didn't used to be like that, right? I was the only guy doing it. Yeah. Like in Japan and certain places. I'm doing backflips off the guardrail.
Yes.
These guys are just big, you know, big. Now the average wrestler seems like he's like 185 pounds maybe.
Yeah.
And they're younger and they're not so much into partying anymore.
They're actually taking the shit serious.
Yeah.
I think you definitely influenced that generation because I mean you were doing like some really complicated shit, you know, like acrobatic, physical, athletic agile shit. There wasn't a lot of people doing what you were doing back then. Yeah. Because you were a martial artist. At that. So you were bringing that to the game, and that was a different skill set that no one had seen too. And I'll tell you what, it made shit more exciting. I mean, fuck. I mean, better than I. I mean, they were giving you love through the whole thing.
Yeah, and they still do. Like they will forever. They will forever. That's cool. Dude, and I look kind of pretty much the same as I always have, same hairs, except for Katie has me wearing in a bun now, which as long as Katie likes it, I like it. That's the way it goes.
Cannabis has preserved you, my friend. Right?
Most likely. What else can you say?
It's the greatest preservative.
Genes, yeah, for sure. I mean, I can see that because the main enemy to health is stress, right?
Right.
And it comes in all kinds of different forms, but marijuana helps so much to not feel that stress, right?
Right.
Stress ages you. It gives you every fucking sickness and disease.
Stress is part of the reason people get sick in the first fucking place, right? So
I don't deal well with stress.
Yeah.
I have to be like this. If there's something bothering me, like I have to fucking attack it and try to fix it if I can, or learn how to deal with it.
I mean, if you smoke the right weed and you have like fucking, problems with anxieties, man, that shit'll fucking take that shit right away. But if you smoke the wrong shit that's too strong for you, it might amplify those anxieties. So if you're a first-time smoker, you might want to start with a sativa. You know what I mean? Something like chill, so that, you don't want to fucking instigate the anxieties within you. You want to fucking push them away, right?
I'm not saying that's true.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's not for everybody, and everything affects everybody different, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, we've been smoking a long time, so, it really doesn't, it doesn't affect us the same way. We have to smoke a little bit more. Or
right, but every single picture of RVD that's on Instagram ever has all the comments are like, he's so fucking baked, look at him. And like, am I so fucking baked? I mean,
they don't know.
I don't even know if I changed that much. I mean, I feel good, I enjoy it to smoke, but I don't get like they do. When they get fucked up.
Let me ask you this, because like for all the athletes that we've had, the guys that trained, while they were, in their respective sports, and they still train now, this day and time, and I'm sure you still do, because I mean, you're in great shape. Do you feel that like helps with your tolerance in absorbing cannabis, whether you're smoking it or you're taking, edibles or whatever, like however you consume it? Do you feel like it gives you, your tolerance level? Does it amplify it, you think?
I've never thought about that, and I don't know if I can make a connection really in my head, because I'm thinking about some people that I know that are like 130 pounds, non-athletic, like a referee or someone that smokes a ton of weed, and they have high tolerance too.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know, but I mean, obviously working out has the benefits of you sweat a lot, and then you take in clean water, and so you're cleaning your shit out, and I could see where in that manner that, you would be more ready to absorb, whatever's coming in. But I don't know. But one thing that I think is like with the CBD, like I think people that smoke don't feel the effects of CBD. I mean, I have people all the time telling me, like, they take the tinctures and then they feel drowsy and they go to bed. I'm like, do you have THC in it? Because I don't feel it. I just believe the science behind it and hope that it's fucking doing its thing.
And I think the misconception out there is, and this is why education is still important, is that for CBD to actually work in your body, you have to take it over the course of time, right? So it's got to become a part of your daily regimen. Like if you take vitamins, that has to be considered a vitamin, because it is. And you have to just keep taking it, for it to get in your bloodstream and start, having an effect. If you just try to take it one time overnight, maybe psychologically you think something is happening, and that's good because your mind is and body is trained to, if you believe this is happening, your body will react to that, right? But realistically, it takes some time for the CBD to actually physically take effect. So you have to take it at least 30 days. And if you want to continue,
but can I say something? Can I say something about that? I think that
this is you if you want it.
Yeah, thank you. I think that as far as like healing, that you're right. Because we have cannabinoid receptors on our skin. But we have two inside systems called endocannabinoid systems, and they're natural and they're there, and they produce endocannabinoids on their own, and that's why we feel certain ways. Like that's right. Where, like if we get angry and then afterwards, like we're feeling cool and relaxed, that's because our endocannabinoid system, it's a big network of messaging going on and sending endocannabinoids to do their thing. That's why you get the result like that. So I could see where somebody, like if they take some tinctures, I could see where the cannabinoids that they're taking, I could see where once they go inside and do their thing, where it could mimic what their own body would be doing, Right. So they could help them sleep or something. But as far as healing and shit like that, now my pain cream is like the best that I've used because I use a lot of it. And first it's got 3,000 milligrams of.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah.
But that's good though.
Yeah, and then also I had a really strong menthol because when I put it on, I want to feel that freeze and I feel it soothing like right away. Because otherwise, like some people will say, "Here, try this one," and I put it on. Like, what do you think? I'm like, it feels like a hand lotion.
Yeah, yeah, and it doesn't feel like it did anything.
Yeah,
and that's because there's not enough milligrams too. I don't think.
Yeah, but you don't really feel the CBD doing their thing, right? I mean, we're not going to. Yeah, because we have a high tolerance anyway. You don't feel it when you rub it on.
If you put menthol, it's definitely going to make a difference because you're going to feel it right away.
Yes.
It's going to numb it, and then it's going to, you're right. That's
absolutely.
I use a lot of
but I think CBD. But I think you're right. I think that for anyone with high tolerance to feel it has to be a lot of milligrams. Like you said, like the ones you had were 3,000 milligrams. Yeah. Right? So I think guys like us, and athletes, the ones who want to use the topicals and shit like that, I believe they need
but also
that type of shit.
Another reason that I wanted it to be that high, because there's no federal guidelines on CBDs. If you try to find out what the daily dosage that you should take, what it is, if you look up on the internet, because I've done this, recommended daily dosage, I found everywhere from 20 milligrams to 300 milligrams. And that's a wide ass range. If you're doing 300 milligrams in a day, then you better have a good supply.
You better have a good fucking supply, right? So you might as well pretty much encapsulate those bitches, right? Yeah.
So at least mine would last 10 days if you're doing the maximum, at 3,000 milligrams. So that's what I wanted. Because I was, and I take like 150 milligrams a day, and I don't know.
Have you thought to do like supplemental shit, like for people, trying to get their health together and take the right shit? Do you ever think about, aside from the CBD stuff, going into that aspect of it?
As far as the body,
like
I right now I know is the answer.
Because what's crazy is that, like, if you go into vitamin stores now, or even Rite Aid or CVS or the Dwayne Reeds, they got fucking CBD products in there.
Yeah, fucking way.
In terms of topicals.
At the airport, we saw it today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right at the airport, inside. Yeah.
So I would think someone who's like also a health advocate, that would be a fucking awesome lane for you right there.
Well, I'm working on getting my CBD line and all those. I have partners that are. Have a lot of networking and a lot of shit going on. I just have the tincture and the topical, but we're talking to someone else about doing, first off, THC, but that's only allowed, so in Colorado, this particular license that we'll have, but that's how you have to do it state by state as far as that goes. But but that includes pens and a whole line of shit. And talking about sports drinks with CBDs in them, and of course gummies, just because people love the fucking gummies. So there's a whole bunch of shit that's coming together. So I'll be I think I'm going to be out there. You know what I mean? And I got a lot of distribution, international distribution, even in Mexico, and we're going to in London. I'm going to the CBD show. It's a convention in London to network over there and shit. And it's like all indicators look like it's going to do like really well. So I'm stoked because I am passionate about it.
Hell yeah, you are.
Because people do want to give me shit for being on TV. Because kids watch it, even though I've always used adult language, and Katie and I and Jennifer basically had a threesome that got us kicked off Twitch and on TV, and I'm always representing marijuana. But if you still want to say that I'm just for kids, then I forgot what I was talking about.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that threesome. I was thinking about that threesome.
Right on. I could respect that. No, but I mean, you had to face all the criticisms and all that shit from people that didn't fucking understand what you were representing in the first fucking place. And now it's a whole different generation of people that are more open to it and have embraced, and then the people that actually supported you back in that time now have a voice, because of all the social media and stuff like that. Everybody has their own voice now. So when you come along and you do something, everybody's giving love to you because they know you've been representing from day one.
Same thing could be said about you.
Hey, well, that's why we're here, and you're Smokebox alumni now. We've been waiting for you up in here, man.
Awesome.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad to be here. Oh, fuck. Maturity.
Hey, it happens.
Recovered.
It happens. Shit. What I was gonna ask you something.
But I was gonna tell you that I do. Besides trying to get my product in those locations, which I don't think that's exactly where you're going with it. But I am interested in helping with the brain. That's the main reason I wanted to start getting into the CBDs, because my friends keep killing themselves and shit, and I don't have CTE, but I don't know that when I'm older and shit that it might not set in or something. I don't know, because I've had hundreds and hundreds of concussions, and I didn't know what they were back then. We used to not know what they were. I thought it was just part of the job. I'd do it every night. But
it's like football.
Yeah.
They didn't know till someone told them. You know what I mean? Like when they were taking those first hits, like the hard hits in the first days, the doctors didn't know what those guys were going through.
Right.
They didn't know what to tell them. And then when they realized, they didn't really want to tell them, because it's like,
then they're liable. The whole thing that they still don't want to talk about
and
it.
How many people will want to play? With the acknowledgement of that,
So that's like the documentary that I did, Headstrong. It was going to be like a little. We're gonna shoot me on the road doing a stand-up comedy for
that's dope,
right? But I showed up with a double vision from a concussion because I wrestled like 3 days before, and I was like, I'm sure I'll be fine tomorrow, but I kept doing it every day. And the double vision didn't fucking go away. Wow. And so then the documentary became about something much bigger, because, we did the whole tour. I talked about it, but I'd take pictures with fans and shit, and then I'd be like, they have no idea I'm seeing two of them right now. Holy fuck. And I was up on stage, and the light was sometimes, so much for me that I would close my eyes sometimes when I was up there, and it was really weird, but we had the camera to catch like the whole thing, and came back and went to Curlin Job and got scanned, MRI, CAT scan, everything. had vision therapy for a long time, which it became like a really big thing, and so that's what Headstrong is, my documentary on Amazon, and it's ended up, which I didn't know until it went out there and I started getting feedback. It ended up being like kind of important because all the people, the response was that it helped them dealing with shit they're going through or whatever. Because you see me go, but. I realized, that concussion is still like a bad word, but so I wouldn't mind being the poster boy for the concussion awareness, because we have to talk about it.
Yeah, for
just
sure.
Like you were saying with weed, with anything, got to talk about it in order to progress and move forward. And, and they're, I was reading about CBGs. NFL was going to use something with CBG to make a pregame pill to help their, and so I was thinking they probably got to go through all kinds of red tape and shit. Yeah. So I just, ended up partnering up with some guys that already were running a CBD thing, and ended up doing our own thing. And they already had all the scientists, the labs, everything lined up. So that's how we came up with it. But so now we're trying to get a brain pill, which I always will work on until I get it.
That's awesome.
Whatever that is. Yeah.
I think that's awesome because, again, more people need the information, and I think it's great that you're talking about it. Because, it's not something that's explained. So when it happens to someone, they don't necessarily know how to deal with it. Yeah. They might think they're fucking going crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and also they don't know what a concussion is. They'll be like, I think I had one time. It's like basically like any time that you get rocked and your senses are off, So most of mine were just a few seconds long, but sometimes it would be like I'd take a chair to the head, crack, and then like sound would go out, I'd be on the mat, and the sound would be out for a few seconds, or it'd be slow motion sometimes.
Ear ring.
I remember one time, like wham, I hit my head, and I was trying to tell Rey Mysterio that that I needed a second because he was expecting me to nip up or some shit, I don't know, and I was going Ray. That's what it felt like to me. Trying to tell him, Yeah, but I've been hundreds, dude.
Nuts.
Yeah.
I just visualized that as you were explaining it. And that has to be the craziest feeling because you don't have any control.
But I just thought it was part of the job, Sometimes everything's spinning, and this time I had double vision. But man, it hung out for, I don't know, like a year and a half, maybe 2 years. I don't know. Long. My vision still isn't the same as before. The match was in 2016, November 12th, 2016, and my vision is still different. Like I can do certain things to trigger, and something will split up. It can go into double.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. I mean, and that was from
it was the most simple fucking bone.
Chair to the head.
No, this one was just so simple. Like it's in the movie also. I mean, it covers all this, but it's like an arm drag, like a weird kind of right arm drag that Pentagon Jr. did, and I just like rolled. But when I rolled, my head hit the mat. Didn't even look like anything, but I got up and everything was double, and I've been there hundreds of times. So I grabbed the ref to tell him, like, hey, I need a second, and I was trying to shake it off. And after it doesn't go away, you got to keep going. It's like, well, fuck.
That's the warrior spirit right there.
I guess being professional.
Yeah,
all the above. All the above.
That's crazy. Yeah, all the above. Hey man, I want to thank you for coming in here and telling your story and smoking out with us.
Absolutely.
Because I know that this is the first time that you've smoked on camera, and I appreciate that. And fucking Rob Van Dam, man.
Man.
The whole damn show.
420.
Let them know where they can find you, brother.
So I am at The Real RVD everywhere on social media. The Real RVD and RVD CBD. I need some followers to follow RVD CBD on Instagram.
Yeah,
because someone's posting on there, and they do way more posts than I do. So they're more better follow.
I know what that's like. We're gonna leave comments, subscribe to the channel, follow my man, and make sure you watch that documentary.
And Katie Forbes.
Everywhere at the Katie Forbes.
Man,
Boom.
She comes out to the ring with me now at Impact Wrestling.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. She got a lot of fans.
Word
cool,
up.
man. We had a good time.
It's been another Smokebox. You know, stay blazing.